Is everyone here faculty and staff? Or?
Faculty and staff.
I'm a student too.
Oh.
But we're asking.
No.
Yeah. We're here on behalf of International Women's Day today.
Yeah.
And we're standing in solidarity.
So I'm getting the connection that you're protesting the current administration in honor of Women's Day? Gotcha.
And for anybody who is also facing
Fashion House class as well.
So my name is Rafi Reagan. I'm an adjunct in the English department, and I'm part of this BC Faculty and Staff Resist group.
And there are some students here, from what I've seen.
Yeah, some of them filtering out.
Right. And so I see a lot of these individual points to the protest you've got here about diversity, about immigration bans. What is it to you the most that you're protesting against?
To me personally, I protest for these things because I'm a socialist and I believe in someday, creating a more socially equal socialist society. And I think all those things are important for that. I mean, I think there needs to be freedom for women, immigrants,
press,
color,
and all that.
Everyone. So I do it because not for any particular issue, but to show solidarity across all the different issues.
How are you feeling so far about this administration?
Yeah, I mean, it's terrible. I mean, regardless of the kind of awfulness of this particular person, Donald Trump, I think not only him, but the Republican Party and the people around him, his cabinet, etc., are pushing forward a lot of really damaging legislation that is just bad for people, particularly poor working class people, but the poor especially.
So you don't just feel that it's intrusive to student life, but it's much bigger than that.
Well, it is much bigger, but I think that students are people too, and so students have to deal with the same effects as all other people have to that sort of come down from these legislations, like taking away the Affordable Care Act, for example, which isn't a perfect piece of legislation, but that affects students whether or not, whether they're here, whether they're students or not, one year or the other. I mean, that matters no matter what you are.
Right.
Unless you're rich, I guess. It doesn't really.
Today's International Women's Day,
Yes.
so can you tell me the connection between that and this protest?
Well, I mean, of course, with a lot of for one thing, the outrage that comes from the language and rhetoric that Trump has used in relation to women, it's important to come out and to voice support for women for that reason. But also the way, again, his actual policies are going to affect women are also, it's also important for that reason. But yeah, I mean, women are extremely valuable, extremely important to society. They do so much paid and unpaid labor. They have struggled so much for their freedom, even now when they don't have all of it. So to continue to come out on days like this and continue that struggle is important.
Right. So my last question would be, do you think that in some crazy sort of reverse that this administration can somehow win you over?
Win me over? At this point, protests like this, particularly this particular protest, are about being on the defensive. So I
just
don't
showing
see
solidarity
and protecting people who are targeted.
Right.
So I don't think there's an end goal as a positive goal right now. It's the goal of defending people, but at least here. But I think there are a lot of other possible positive goals, but that's not really what we're doing, I guess, right now. Yeah.
Right. All right, Rafi. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Thanks.
So you're an English adjunct.
Yeah.
I have to ask.
Yeah.
How do you feel about his use of vocabulary?
Oh, it's terrible. It's really bizarre. I mean, it's very odd to me that people really like. I mean, it's not odd. I kind of get it that he's very simplistic and sort of basic in the way that he talks. But it's just it's interesting because it's just empty language. It's like he'll just say things that don't mean anything. So I find that particularly weird as an English person.
It's about the volume, not so much
Yeah,
the tone.
it's about the adjectives, which
Right.
is something you learn in English class. You don't use a lot of adjectives because they
Yeah.
don't really help. But he
Well, at
loves
least
to
not in
say-
this country, really, all
right.
that much.
But I guess
uh,
people like them.
Yeah. There's a message that's really
Yeah.
getting through. I guess that's what's sobering about it.
Yeah.